Ambassador Kethavar stood in front of the large blue screen in his office. The holographic map of the galaxy floated in the air, spinning slowly. He had been looking at it for 3 hours now, and something was very wrong. For the past month, 3 different alien species had sent him their star maps. All 3 maps were perfect. They showed every planet, every star system, every trade route in the known galaxy. But they all had the same strange thing. At the edge of the galaxy, there was a big empty space. No stars, no planets, nothing. The empty space was marked with simple words. Human territory, do not enter. Kethavar touched his long blue fingers to his forehead. His people, the Zilani, never forgot anything. They had perfect memory. But when he tried to remember why humans were dangerous, his mind went blank. He could not remember ever meeting a human. He could not remember any war with humans. He could not remember anything about humans at all. This made no sense. Kethavar walked to his desk and pressed a button. Send me all files about humans, he said to his computer. No files found, the computer replied. Send me all files about the restricted zone. No files found. Kethavar felt cold. How could there be no files? The Zilani kept records of everything for millions of years. Every trade deal, every war, every first contact with a new species. But nothing about humans, he called his assistant. Mira, come to my office. Mira was a young Zilani with bright green skin. She was very smart and knew the database better than anyone. When she came in, Kethavar pointed at the map. What do you know about this empty space? He asked. Mira looked at the map. Her face went pale. She stepped back from the hologram. We do not go there, sir. Why not? Because... Mira's voice was shaking. Because it is forbidden. Who forbade it? I do not know, sir. It has always been forbidden. Mira was sweating now. May I go, sir? Looking at that map makes me feel sick. Kethavar stared at his assistant. Mira was one of the bravest people he knew. She had traveled to dangerous worlds and met with hostile aliens, but looking at an empty space on a map made her afraid. Yes, you may go, he said. After Mira left, Kethavar sat down and thought. He called the Vorthan Empire. The Vorthans were warriors who feared nothing. Their general Zrak was his friend. Zrak, Kethavar said when the call connected. I need to ask you about humans. There was silence on the other end. Then Zrak's voice came through, but it sounded different. Scared. Why do you ask about them? Zrak whispered. I am trying to understand why their space is forbidden. Do not ask about this, Kethavar. Some things should not be questioned. End this call. Forget what you asked. The connection cut off. Kethavar stared at the blank screen. Zrak had hung up on him. Zrak, who fought space monsters for fun, was afraid to even talk about humans. He tried calling other friends. The result was always the same. Fear. Silence. Requests to stop asking questions. Some of his oldest friends refused to take his calls after he mentioned humans. That night, Kethavar could not sleep. He went back to his office and looked at the map again. The empty space was huge. It contained almost 1,000 star systems. That was enough space for billions of people. But no ships went there. No trade routes crossed it. On every map, it was just empty. He noticed something else. The border around human space was perfect. It was an exact sphere. Nature did not make perfect spheres. Someone had drawn this border very carefully. Kethavar decided to search the old archives. The Zilani had records going back millions of years. Surely there had to be something about humans in the old files. He went deep into the archive system, past the recent files, past the files from 1,000 years ago, past the files from 10,000 years ago. Still nothing about humans. But then he found something strange. Around 50,000 years ago, there was a gap in the records. For about 10 years, very few records existed. The few files from that time talked about something called the Great Change and the Time of Silence, but they did not explain what these things meant. One old file caught his attention. It was written by an ancient Zilani ambassador named Veltar. The file was very short. The agreement has been made. The borders are set. We must not speak of what happened. We must not remember. It is for the best. Future generations will be safer if they do not know. That was all. No explanation of what agreement. No details about what happened. Just a warning not to remember. Kethavar felt a chill run down his spine. Someone had made his people forget about humans on purpose. But why? He searched for more files from that time period. Most were missing or damaged. But he found pieces. References to the sleeping ones and those who must not be woken. Ancient warnings about not crossing certain borders. One fragment made him stop breathing. They could have taken everything. Instead, they chose to leave. We do not understand their reasons, but we are grateful. The price of peace is memory. We will forget, so our children can live without fear. What kind of beings were humans that forgetting them was the price of peace? What had they done that was so terrible that every species agreed to erase them from history? Or maybe the question was different. Maybe humans had not done something terrible. Maybe they had done something so good, so powerful that it scared everyone else. Kethavar looked at the map again. The empty space seemed bigger now, like a hole in the galaxy where something important used to be. He made a decision. He would find out the truth about humans no matter what, even if it scared him, even if it was dangerous. The galaxy deserved to know why 1,000 star systems were forbidden. But first he needed help. He could not do this alone. Everyone he talked to became afraid when he mentioned humans. He needed to find someone who could resist that fear, someone brave enough to question what everyone else accepted without thinking. He thought about Dr. Yila Thorne. She was a scientist who studied dead civilizations. She was smart and curious. Most importantly, she did not like mysteries. If anyone could help him find the truth, it would be her. Kethavar sent her a message. Dr. Thorne, I need your help with a research project. It involves a mystery that has been hidden for 50,000 years. Are you interested? Her reply came back quickly. Always. When do we start? Kethavar smiled for the first time in days. He was not alone anymore. Together, they would find out why the galactic map ended at human space. They would learn why every species remembered to fear them, but none dared to question why. He looked at the empty space on the map one more time. Somewhere in that darkness, answers were waiting, and he was going to find them. The next morning, he would begin the most dangerous investigation of his life. He would question the one thing that no one was supposed to question. He would seek out the species that everyone had agreed to forget. He would find the humans. Dr. Yila Thorne arrived at the space station 3 days later. She was a small woman with silver hair and bright blue eyes. Her people, the Korathi, were known for being very smart and very stubborn. When they wanted to learn something, nothing could stop them. Kethavar met her at the docking bay. Thank you for coming, he said. I would not miss this, Yila replied. Your message said you found a mystery from 50,000 years ago. I study old civilizations for a living. This is exactly what I love to do. They walked to Kethavar's office. When Yila saw the galactic map, she stopped walking. What is that empty space? She asked. That is the mystery, Kethavar said. It is marked as human territory, but no one remembers anything about humans. Yila walked closer to the map. Unlike others, she did not step back. She was not afraid. She was curious. This is very strange, she said. A space this big should have millions of people. Where did they go? That is what we need to find out, Kethavar said. He told her everything he had learned. The missing files, the frightened reactions, the ancient warnings about forgetting. Yila listened carefully. When he finished, she was quiet for a long time. Someone erased humans from galactic memory, she said finally. But they did a sloppy job. They left clues. What do you mean? Look at the border. Yila pointed at the map. It is a perfect sphere. Someone drew that line. It was not natural. And the warnings in your files. They talk about choosing to forget. That means it was planned. Yila sat down and opened her computer. I have studied hundreds of dead civilizations. When people disappear, they leave traces, buildings, art, technology, bones, something always remains. She typed quickly. I am searching my database for any mention of humans or anything that might be related to them. After an hour, she found something. Here, she said. On a planet called Zirion Prime, there are ancient stone tablets. They are very old. The local archaeologists say they do not understand what the tablets mean. She showed Kethavar pictures of the tablets. They were covered in strange symbols. I can read these symbols, Yila said. They are written in Old Galactic, the language that was used before the modern trade language. The message says, the Watchers sleep. Do not wake them. Honor the bargain. Remember to forget. Watchers? Kethavar asked. That might be what they called humans, Yila said. And look at this date marker. These tablets were made 50,000 years ago, right around the time your files mention the Great Change. They spent the next week traveling to different worlds. On each planet, they found similar tablets. Always the same message, always the same date, always the same warning about not waking the sleeping ones. On the planet Thrace, they found something different. Under the main city in deep caves, there were paintings on the walls. The paintings showed strange beings with smooth skin and 5-fingered hands. The beings in the paintings were helping other species, building cities, healing the sick, stopping wars. These might be pictures of humans, Yila said. Look how they are drawn, always helping, never fighting. But look at the faces of the other species in the paintings. Kethavar looked closely. The aliens in the paintings looked grateful but also afraid. They feared their helpers, he said. Yes. But why would you fear someone who was helping you? They found their answer on the planet Korvax. In the ruins of an ancient library, Yila discovered a hidden room. Inside the room were crystal data storage devices. Most were broken, but a few still worked. When they activated the first crystal, a hologram appeared. It was an alien that looked like Kethavar's people, but older. The hologram began to speak. My name is Historian Kelmiran. I am recording this in secret against the wishes of the Council. They say we must forget what happened. They say it is for our own good. But history should not be erased even when it is uncomfortable. The hologram continued. The humans came from the outer edge of the galaxy. They had technology we could not understand, ships that moved faster than light without using hyperspace, weapons that could destroy suns. But they did not use these weapons to conquer us. Kethavar and Yila listened in amazement. Instead, they helped us. In 10 years, they ended every war in the galaxy. They cured diseases that had killed billions. They gave us technology to clean our polluted worlds. They united all the species under one peaceful government. Then why did everyone want to forget them? Yila whispered. The hologram answered as if it had heard her question. Because we realized we were not equals. We were pets, children. The humans were so advanced that we could never catch up to them. They were kind to us, but we were nothing compared to them. They could control our thoughts if they wanted to. They could destroy our worlds with a thought. We were completely helpless, the recording continued. Some species tried to fight them. The humans did not fight back. They simply made the attackers forget they wanted to fight. Others tried to study human technology. The humans let them try, but the technology was impossible to understand. It was like giving a child the plans for a starship and asking them to build it. So the humans made an offer. They would leave. They would go back to their part of the galaxy and seal themselves away. In exchange, all other species would agree never to seek them out. To make sure this agreement was kept, the humans would use their mental technology one last time. They would make it very hard for anyone to think about them or remember them. The hologram flickered. Most of the council agreed. They said it was better to be free and ignorant than safe and controlled. The humans accepted this decision. They gathered their technology and their people and went home. Before they left, they activated the memory barriers. Most people forgot about them immediately, but some of us resisted the mental conditioning. We remember. We know the truth. The humans did not leave because they were defeated. They left because they were asked to leave. They left because they loved us enough to give us our freedom, even though it meant we would struggle without their help. The recording was ending. I am hiding these crystals in case someday someone needs to know the truth. The humans are still out there in their sealed territory. They are waiting. I do not know what they are waiting for, but I hope that when the time comes, we will be worthy of their return. The hologram faded away. Kethavar and Yila sat in silence for a long time. They left because we asked them to, Yila said finally. They could have ruled the galaxy, Kethavar said. Instead, they chose exile. The question is, Yila said, are they still there? And if they are, what are they doing? Kethavar looked at his hands. They were shaking. There is only one way to find out. You want to go to human space, Yila said. Yes. But first, we need to understand more. If the humans can control thoughts, if they have technology we cannot understand, we need to be very careful. Agreed. But Kethavar, I think we are missing something important. What? The historian said the humans are waiting. Waiting for what? And why do I get the feeling that our investigation is not as secret as we think it is? That night, neither of them could sleep. They had learned the truth about humans, but the truth only led to more questions. Somewhere in the dark space at the edge of the galaxy, the most advanced species ever known was waiting. But waiting for what? 2 weeks after finding the historian's recording, Yila made a discovery that changed everything. She was studying star charts from 50,000 years ago when she noticed something strange. Kethavar, look at this, she said, calling him to her computer screen. These are maps from before the humans left. See these symbols near the edge of human space? Kethavar looked at the ancient star chart. Small symbols marked certain star systems along the border of human territory. What are those symbols? At first I thought they were navigation markers, Yila said. But I compared them to modern star charts. Those symbols mark the locations of monitoring stations. What kind of monitoring stations? The kind that are still there. Kethavar felt his blood go cold. You mean the humans left watchers behind? Yes, and I think those watchers have been reporting on us this whole time. Yila showed him more evidence. Advanced scanning had detected artificial structures in those star systems. The structures were very old but still active. They sent signals toward human space, but the signals were encrypted in a way that no one could understand. The humans never really left, Yila said. They have been watching us for 50,000 years. But why? Kethavar asked. If they wanted to stay hidden, why watch us? Maybe to make sure we do not become a threat. Or maybe to make sure we develop properly without their help. That same day they received a strange message. It came from someone calling themselves Keeper of Memories. The message was short. You seek truth about the sleepers. There are others who remember. Meet us on Koro Station Docking Bay 7. Come alone. Trust no one else with this knowledge. Kethavar and Yila looked at each other. It could be a trap, Kethavar said. Or it could be exactly what we need, Yila replied. They decided to go to Koro Station. It was a small trading post on the edge of civilized space. When they arrived at Docking Bay 7, they found an old Vorthon waiting for them. He was very old, with gray skin and tired eyes. I am Keeper Thane, he said. You have been asking dangerous questions. We want to know the truth, Kethavar said. The truth is dangerous. That is why it was hidden. Thane led them to a small ship. But some truths must be preserved even if they are dangerous. Inside the ship, Thane showed them a hidden room. The walls were covered with files, pictures, and artifacts. Everything was about humans. Welcome to the Archive of the Rememberers, Thane said. We are a secret organization. We have existed for 50,000 years. Our job is to remember what everyone else was made to forget. How many of you are there? Yila asked. Not many. The mental conditioning is very strong. Most people cannot break free from it. But a few in each generation manage to remember. We find them and teach them the truth. Thane showed them documents that proved everything they had discovered. The human withdrawal, the Great Accord, the monitoring stations, but he also showed them things they had not known. The humans did not just leave, Thane explained. They have been quietly guiding galactic development ever since. Every time a species develops dangerous technology, key scientists have accidents or forget their discoveries. Every time a war threatens to become too destructive, leaders suddenly change their minds about fighting. They are still protecting us, Kethavar said. Yes, but there is more. The Rememberers believe the human withdrawal was never meant to be permanent. It was a test. A test of what? To see if the galaxy could grow up. To see if we could develop wisdom along with technology. To see if we could become worthy partners instead of protected children. Thane pulled out an ancient book. This is the diary of the last human ambassador. She wrote it just before they left. Listen to this passage. Thane read aloud. We hope that someday your species will be ready to meet us as equals. When that day comes, we will know. We will be watching for signs that you have learned to think for yourselves, to question what you are told, to seek truth even when it is dangerous. When we see those signs, we will return. They are waiting for us to be ready, Yila whispered. Yes, and the Rememberers believe that time is coming soon. That is why we contacted you. What do you mean? You broke through the mental conditioning on your own. You questioned what everyone else accepted. You sought truth when others chose ignorance. These are the signs the humans were waiting for. Thane showed them more evidence. In recent years, more people had been breaking free from the conditioning. Scientists were asking questions about the Forbidden Zone. Explorers were wondering what lay beyond the maps. The mental barriers that kept people from thinking about humans were getting weaker. We think the humans are letting the barriers fade, Thane said. They are preparing to return, but are we ready? Kethavar asked. That is the question. The galaxy has grown in 50,000 years. We have better technology, better medicine, more cooperation between species. But we still have wars. We still have poverty. We still make many mistakes. Yila studied the documents. What do the Rememberers think we should do? We think we should send a signal to human space. A message that says we remember them and we want to meet them again. But not everyone agrees. What do the others want? Some want to leave the humans alone. They say we are not ready and may never be ready. Others want to try to contact them secretly, to learn what they are planning. And some want to warn the galaxy that the humans might be coming back. Kethavar thought about this. What would happen if we told everyone the truth? If we revealed the human history to the whole galaxy? Panic, Thane said simply. Most people would be terrified. They would either try to hide or try to attack human space. Both options would be disasters. So what do? We prepare. We gather more evidence. We find more people who can resist the conditioning. And we try to understand what the humans want. Thane gave them copies of all the Rememberer files. Study these. Learn everything you can. And decide what you think is right. As they prepared to leave, Thane gave them one final warning. Be careful. The monitoring stations have detected your investigation. The humans know that you are looking for them. What they decide to do about that knowledge will determine the future of the galaxy. That night, on their ship heading back to the diplomatic station, Kethavar and Yila sat in the observation deck looking at the stars. Do you think we did the right thing? Kethavar asked. I think we did the only thing we could do, Yila replied. The truth has a way of coming out eventually. Better that we help guide it than let it explode without warning. But what if the humans decide we are not ready? What if they decide we are a threat? Then at least we will face that decision with knowledge instead of ignorance. They looked toward the edge of the galaxy, where human space lay hidden in darkness. Somewhere out there, beings with unimaginable power were watching and waiting. Soon, very soon, they would have to decide whether the galaxy was ready for their return. The test that had lasted 50,000 years was coming to an end. The first sign that something was changing came 3 days after Kethavar and Yila returned from meeting the Rememberers. Reports started coming in from ships near the edge of the galaxy. Crews were having strange dreams. Dreams about voices calling to them from the darkness. Dreams about great ships moving between the stars. Admiral Vex of the Galactic Border Patrol called Kethavar personally. Ambassador, we have a problem, Vex said. His usually calm voice sounded worried. Our long-range sensors are detecting movement in the restricted zone. What kind of movement? Stars are moving, Kethavar. Not drifting. Moving with purpose. Something is rearranging whole solar systems. Kethavar felt fear crawl up his spine. How is that possible? It is not possible. But it is happening. And there is more. The mental barriers that keep people from thinking about the restricted zone are failing. My crew is starting to ask questions about what is out there. That same day, Yila called with more disturbing news. The monitoring stations are activating, she said. All of them. After 50,000 years of quiet observation, they are sending massive data bursts toward human space. What kind of data? Everything. Population counts, technology levels, political situations, military capabilities. They are sending a complete report on the current state of the galaxy. Kethavar realized what was happening. The humans are deciding whether we are ready. Yes, and I think our investigation was the final test. We proved that some of us can break free from mental conditioning and seek truth. We proved that galactic civilization has developed enough to question authority. But the question remained, had they passed the test or failed it? The answer came sooner than expected. 5 days later, space itself began to change near the human border. Ships approaching the area reported that hyperspace was unstable. Jump routes that had worked for thousands of years suddenly became dangerous. Then the ancient jump gates started activating. Jump gates were massive structures built by a long-dead civilization. Most had been inactive for millions of years. But the gates near human space began powering up. Energy readings went off the charts. The gates were preparing for something big. Captain Zara of the exploration ship, Wanderer, was the first to witness what happened next. Control, this is Wanderer, she reported. I am seeing impossible readings. The jump gate at coordinates 847 Alpha is opening. Opening to where, Wanderer? I do not know. The destination is not on any star chart. Wait, something is coming through. What came through was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. It was not a ship in any normal sense. It was a structure the size of a small moon, but it moved like it was alive. Its surface was smooth and silver, and it seemed to bend light around itself. Control, the object is scanning me, Captain Zara reported. I can feel it in my mind. It is tangential. It is asking permission to examine my ship. Wanderer, get out of there now. No, Control. It is not hostile. It is curious. It wants to learn about us. More objects came through the gate, ships that looked like works of art, structures that seemed to be made of pure energy. They spread out across the border region, but they did not cross into galactic space. They waited. Then came the message. It was broadcast on every communication frequency in the galaxy. Every radio, every quantum transmitter, every telepathic network received the same signal at the same time. The message was simple and was delivered in every known language. Children of the galaxy, we greet you after long silence. We are the ones you called humans. We have been watching your growth with pride and hope. The time of separation is ending. We wish to speak with you again. The galaxy erupted in panic. Some governments immediately began mobilizing their fleets. Others tried to flee to the far edges of space. Many species went into complete denial, insisting the message was fake. But a few responded with curiosity instead of fear. Kethvar was one of them. Within hours of the message, he sent a reply toward human space. We remember you. Some of us never forgot. We welcome the chance to speak. The human response came quickly. Ambassador Kethvar of the Zalani Confederation. We have watched your investigation with interest. You and Dr. Yila Thorne have proven that your species can overcome imposed limitations and seek truth. Will you speak for your people? Yila was with Kethvar when the message arrived. They want us to be ambassadors, she said. Can we do that? Can we represent the entire galaxy? We may have to. Look at how everyone else is reacting. They were right. Most galactic governments were in chaos. The Vorthan Empire had declared martial law. The Karathi Science Council was debating whether to flee or fight. The Zalani Confederation was split between those who wanted to hide and those who wanted to negotiate. Only a few voices called for calm and communication. Keeper Thane and the Rememberers sent messages of support. Some younger species, those who had no memory of human contact, expressed curiosity about meeting such advanced beings. 3 days after the first message, the humans sent another communication. We propose a meeting. Ambassador Kethvar and Dr. Yila Thorne will come to the border between our territories. We will send one representative to meet with you. This meeting will determine the future relationship between our peoples. Will you go? Yila asked Kethvar. Will you come with me? Of course. We started this together. We should finish it together. They prepared for the journey to the border. But first they sent messages to every government in the galaxy. We are going to meet with the humans. We go as representatives of all galactic civilization. We will try to learn their intentions and negotiate a peaceful relationship. We ask for your trust and your prayers. The responses were mixed. Some called them heroes. Others called them traitors. A few called them fools. Are we doing the right thing? Kethvar asked as they boarded their ship. I do not know, Yila replied. But someone has to do it. Someone has to bridge the gap between us and them. As their ship headed toward the border, they received one final message from human space. Do not fear us. We come not as conquerors, but as neighbors. We have learned much during our isolation. We hope you have learned much as well. Together we may accomplish things that neither of us could do alone. The ship carrying Kethvar and Yila crossed into the space between territories. Behind them lay the galaxy they knew, full of fear and uncertainty. Ahead lay the unknown, where beings of unimaginable power waited to judge whether their species were ready for partnership, or still needed protection. The meeting that would determine the future of galactic civilization was about to begin in the distance. Stars moved in patterns that defied understanding. Ancient technologies awakened from 50,000 years of sleep. And somewhere in the darkness, humanity prepared to return to a galaxy they had helped create, but had chosen to leave. The age of separation was ending. What would replace it remained to be seen. The meeting place was a small asteroid floating in empty space between human territory and the rest of the galaxy. When Kethvar and Yila arrived, they found that the humans had already prepared everything. The asteroid had been transformed into a beautiful garden with breathable atmosphere and gravity. A single figure waited for them. She looked human, but there was something different about her. She seemed to glow with a soft light, and when she moved, it was like watching water flow. Her eyes held the wisdom of ages, but her face was kind. Welcome, she said as they stepped out of their ship. I am Elena, and I speak for humanity. I am Kethvar, and this is Dr. Yila Thorne. We speak for the galaxy, though many did not ask us to. Elena smiled. The best representatives are often those who choose themselves. Please walk with me. The garden was impossible but beautiful. Trees from a dozen worlds grew together in perfect harmony. Flowers that should not exist bloomed in colors that had no names. A small stream ran through the center, and the water sang as it flowed. This is how we see the future, Elena said. Different species growing together, each unique but part of something greater. Your people created this? Yila asked. We guided it. But the plants chose to grow this way. We have learned that the most beautiful things happen when you provide the right conditions and then let nature take its course. They sat by the singing stream. Elena looked at them with those ancient, kind eyes. You have questions, she said. Many questions, Kethvar replied. But the most important one is, what do you want from us? That is the wrong question, Elena said gently. The right question is, what do you want from yourselves? I do not understand. Elena touched the water and images appeared in its surface. Images of the galaxy over the past 50,000 years. Wars that ended suddenly when key leaders changed their minds. Plagues that disappeared when scientists had unexpected breakthroughs. Technologies that failed when they would have been used for destruction. We have been helping you, Elena said, but helping from a distance, guiding without controlling. We learned long ago that if we solved all your problems for you, you would never learn to solve them yourselves. So you let us struggle, Yila said. We let you grow, and you have grown beautifully. You have learned to cooperate across species lines. You have reduced poverty and disease. You have begun to explore not just space, but the nature of consciousness and reality itself. But we still have wars. We still have suffering. Yes, and you always will to some degree. Perfection is not the goal. Growth is the goal. The ability to face challenges and overcome them is what makes life meaningful. Elena stood and walked to a tree that seemed to be made of crystal. 50,000 years ago, we made a mistake. We tried to solve all your problems for you. We made you dependent on us. We realized that if we continued, you would never develop the strength to stand on your own. So you left. We withdrew. But we also set up a test. We wanted to see if you could develop the courage to question authority, the wisdom to seek truth, and the strength to face the unknown. Elena turned back to them. You passed that test. Both of you. You questioned what everyone else accepted. You sought truth when it was dangerous. You came here despite your fear. What happens now? Kethvar asked. That depends on what you choose. We offer you partnership, not as teacher and student, but as equals. Different kinds of equals, but equals nonetheless. How can we be equals? Your technology is so far beyond ours. Technology is not wisdom. Power is not understanding. You have developed something during our absence that we value greatly. What is that? Independence. You learn to think for yourselves. You learn to make your own mistakes and find your own solutions. That independence is precious. We do not want to take it away from you. Elena gestured, and the stream showed new images. Human cities among the stars, but mixed with cities of other species. Humans and aliens working together on projects that neither could complete alone. We offer you our knowledge, but we will not force it on you. We offer you our protection, but we will not make you dependent on it. We offer you our friendship, but we will not control your choices. And if we refuse? Yila asked. Then we will respect that choice. We will return to our isolation and leave you to develop on your own. But we hope you will not refuse. Why? What do you gain from partnership with us? Elena's smile was warm and genuine. You have something we lost long ago. Fresh perspectives. New ideas. The excitement of discovery. We have become very wise, but wisdom can sometimes lead to stagnation. You remind us what it feels like to be young and curious. Kethvar and Yila looked at each other. This was not what they had expected. They had prepared for demands, for conditions, for some kind of price for human friendship. Instead, they were being offered a choice. What would this partnership look like? Kethvar asked. We would share knowledge gradually. Some of our technology would be too dangerous for your current level of development, but other advances could help you solve problems like disease, hunger, and energy shortages. We would establish trade and cultural exchange. Our people would visit your worlds and yours would visit ours. Most importantly, we would work together to explore the universe. There are mysteries out there that even we have not solved, wonders that neither of us could discover alone. And if problems arise between our peoples, then we will solve them together, like partners do. Elena stood and walked to the edge of the garden. In the distance, they could see the lights of human ships waiting at the border. I must ask you something difficult, she said. Are you prepared to return to the galaxy and convince your people to accept this partnership? Many of them are afraid of us. Some may prefer to remain ignorant rather than face the challenges of growth. That is our job, Yila said, to help them understand that growth requires risk. And yours? Elena asked Kethvar. I think the galaxy has been waiting for this day for 50,000 years. We just did not know it. Elena nodded. Then let us begin, but slowly, carefully, with respect for those who are not ready. Over the next several hours, they discussed the details. Humanity would gradually reveal themselves to the galaxy, first through trade missions and cultural exchanges, then through joint scientific projects, eventually through full diplomatic relations. Some species would embrace the humans immediately. Others would need time to adjust. A few might never accept the partnership. All of these reactions would be respected. Change is hard, Elena said. But isolation is harder. We learned that during our 50,000 years alone. As the meeting ended, Elena gave them each a small device. Communication devices, she explained. If you need to reach us, use these. We will always answer. What should we tell our people? Kethavar asked. Tell them the truth. Tell them that humanity has returned not as conquerors but as friends. Tell them that the future is what we choose to make it together. Kethavar and Yila returned to their ship. As they prepared to leave the asteroid, they looked back at Elena standing in her impossible garden. Do you think this will work? Yila asked. I think it is the best chance we have ever had, Kethavar replied. Their ship turned toward galactic space, carrying the most important message in 50,000 years. Behind them, human ships began to move forward, crossing the border that had separated them from the galaxy for so long. The age of isolation was over. The age of partnership was beginning. 3 months later, the first human trade ship docked at a galactic station. The captain was young and nervous but excited. The station crew was frightened but curious. Together, they took the first steps toward a future that neither species could imagine alone. Kethavar watched the docking from his office, where the galactic map no longer showed an empty space at the edge of human territory. Instead, it showed stars and worlds and possibilities. The galaxy would never be the same. But that was exactly what it needed. Change was coming, and for the first time in 50,000 years, humanity and the rest of the galaxy would face it together.